everyone, welcome back. So now we are in week 4 of Voyage 13B. And how's everyone doing today? I do have a dental update. I did get to a new dentist, and he saw some of the same problems the previous dentist had, which was fine. I just wanted to get a second opinion, and the price tag is a little bit less, and there's also, he's willing to work on different sections of the mouth as time progresses with stuff, and so it'll be a lot easier to do smaller payments, and nothing is, after I got that one tooth extracted, nothing else was, had to be done right now, so I can kind of take my time moving forward on that and get that plotted out. Okay, so with this voyage we started off with $3,100. This is to pay off a Target that we used Visa to pay for $300, and then a portion of that Discover 2 for $2,800. And then since it's week 4, we have 4 little fish swimming along with us to keep us company. So then we jump into the payroll check that went into checking on August 15th. It was for $1,044.12. And then what we did was we put $44.12 to savings, leaving that as $1,000. The line of credit 1 received $140, and that's to make the payment on the bills. Line of credit 2, we placed $560. That's the funds for the voyage and also for credit card bills that are voyage related. And then the line of credit 3 got $200, and that's money we're setting aside for the mortgage. And then we did apply $50 to loan 1, and then the last $50 we applied to the savings account. And then that zeroed out the checking for that payroll. So then on the savings side of things, we started off with $650.32, and then we put that $44.12 of the odd amount into the savings, making it $694.44. And then we put that final $50 in, making it $744.44 as the current savings balance. And then for that loan 1, we did a payment of $50 to that. We started off with $8,779.52. And then with that $50 payment, $9.26 went to interest, $40.74 went to principal, and that gives us a final balance of $8,738.78. And then on this one, the lines of credit 1, 2, and 3, this has a breakdown of how all the balances look right now, and then the next couple pages just show what we did within those lines. So with that line of credit 1, that's set aside for bills, currently has a balance of $11,813.40. There is $186.60 available. That does receive $140 a week. And then the actual payment is $108.51 due on September 1st. We then go into the line of credit 2, which is set aside for the voyage, which is the credit cards right now. And that's starting off with a balance of $10,538.11. There is an available amount of $1,961.89, a weekly payment of $560, and then the monthly payment on that is $117.14. We then look at line of credit 3, which is set aside for the mortgage. That currently has a balance of $11,607.93. Available is $892.07. That gets a weekly payment of $200. And the monthly payment is $122.32. So in the combined amounts, all 3 of the lines have $33,959.44 for the balance. Currently available in all 3 combined is $3,040.56. And then $900 weekly goes to the 3 of them. And then the actual monthly due is $347.97. So then we break down the line of credit 1. That has the monthly payment of $108.51. That is at 7.5%. So that we sent $140 to. the 140, maybe I'll just go ahead and mark it here, so that way we know that was 140, got broke down to $17 going to interest, and then $123 went to principal. So that started off with $11,821.40. Then after the interest and principal payment, we had $11,698.40. And then we did take $115 out to pay towards the American Express for the bills. And that brought it up to $11,813.40. So then this shows the available of $186.60. And then we look at the line of credit 2. That has a monthly payment of $117.14, and that's at 6.74%. And then we do $560 a week to that. So we start off with $10,824.12. We did $13.99 of interest, $546.01 of principal, and that brought it to $10,278.11. We did take out $100 to apply to Discover 2, and that went up to $10,378.11. And then Discover 1 needed a payment of $160. And so I'm starting to do now is once the credit cards cycle out, I'm just going to go ahead and make the minimum payments. That way I would never have to worry about keeping track of the due dates, and it's just a lot. And now that the payments are getting smaller, it's a lot easier just to zap the payments right away once it cycles out. And so now that's at $10,538.11. So available is $1,961.89. And then in that line, we have from July 25th, August 1st, August 8th, and August 15th, $460. So there's $1,840, which is due for Discover 2. And that's just in the line of credit 2, keeping that down at a lower balance and also keeping the interest down, since the Discover 2 is at a 0% right now. And then what we'll do is before the Discover 2 is due on September 23rd, we'll apply that money towards that. And then we get to the line of credit 3 that we're setting aside for the mortgage. That is at 7.5% with a monthly payment of $122.32. And then we did $200 to that. And then $16.96 was interest, and then principal was at $183.04. So now in line of credit 3, the balance is $11,607.93, and then available is $892.07. And then once again, we're making some headway because we the mortgage payment is, what was it, 600 and I forgot the amount, but anyway, we're going to have, once we take this amount, we'll still have an available amount, and then each week it'll get a little bit more and more available. So we'll slowly be paying down this line while putting aside money for the mortgage at the same time. And then we show the Voyage on week 4, where we actually sent $100 towards the Discover 2, and then we put that $460 in line of credit 2. So now at week 4, $560 is remaining for the Discover 2 portion that we're trying to pay off of that $2,800. And then the target, we still have $60 remaining on that $300 original amount. So then we go to week 4 of the captain's log, and on August 15th, we paid off $620. So that means there's $620 that is remaining, since we're able to do this in even chunks. So then the total that's been paid towards the debt is $61,249.87. And then last time, this credit available sheet was hidden by one of my other sheets and got stuck on there, so I hadn't actually shown it. But the update on that now is the Discover 2. Since we're phasing it out, we have that as a limit of $4,700. We did send $100 towards it, so it's down to $4,600. And since we're phasing that out, we're just saying there's $100 available until we get that zeroed out, and then we'll completely eliminate that line. Visa, they're I believe it stayed the same. We're still at the limit of 10,000 and still at a balance of 8,225.12. And so there's 1,774.88 available. The Citibank, I think, is probably the same as it was last time. We start off with a limit of 18,000. We currently have a balance of 5,900, and that's at 12,100 available. And then that Discover One has a limit of 20,000. The balance right now is 7,822. So available is 12,178. So then on these credit on cards, we have a complete limit of 52,700. We then have a balance of 26,547.12, and then available is 26,152.88. And then as far as the bills that got paid, we just down to August 15th, where we did $160 to Discover One. And then we did that out of line of credit 2 by putting that into checking and then paying that directly to the Discover One. And then we also did $215 out of line of credit 1, where $115 was to the American Express, then $100 was to Discover 2, and that also came out of the line of credit 1. And actually, I think I have this backwards, because the American Express was line of credit 1, Discover 2 was line of credit 2. Okay, that's where it was. So I did Discover 1 and Discover 2 out of line of credit 2. So I don't have that figured out. And then I don't think there was any changes on any of these monthly expenses, so this stayed exactly the same as it did last month. So please let me know if you have any questions or comments. Please like and subscribe to follow my debt journey, and I will talk to you in the next video. Thank you for joining me. Bye.